name is Susan Lamb. Years ago, I was a ranger at the Grand Canyon. Much more recently, a publisher in England asked me to write this book, Earth's Incredible Places, Grand Canyon. They also asked a wonderful artist, Sean Lewis, to do the illustrations. In this book, you'll discover so much about the Grand Canyon, where it is, how it was formed, its plants and animals, its people of the past and present, and what it's like for visitors there today. Grand Canyon National Park reminds us of what an amazing planet we live on. It shows us how mountains and canyons form and how rivers can shape the land. Every creature we watch brings us closer to the natural world. A forest of huge ponderosas inspires us to respect and care for nature. Knowing that people who lived here long ago thrived with just what they found around them helps us understand what we humans truly need and what we don't. The canyon challenges us to be our best. A canyon is a deep, narrow valley with steep sides. The Grand Canyon is cut into the high Colorado Plateau of the American Southwest. It is 6,000 feet deep and as much as 18 miles wide. Grand Canyon National Park covers nearly 2,000 square miles as it twists for almost 300 miles along the Colorado River. The Colorado River begins in the Rocky Mountains. It flows about 1,500 miles to the Sea of Cortez in Mexico. The river provides water to lots of farms and to about 40 million people in the U.S. and Mexico. Many dams along its length use the river's power to make electricity. They create lakes where people swim, fish, and water ski. After years of dry weather, the river is very low now. People have lived on the Colorado Plateau for at least 13,000 years. It's a rocky place with a dry climate. The plateau averages over a mile above sea level and covers more than 150,000 square miles. People come from all over the world to see its colorful cliffs and canyons. When you stand on the rim of the Grand Canyon, you can hear the Colorado River roaring over a mile below you. The river began to carve the canyon less than 6 million years ago. The Colorado River is powerful because it's steep. The river can carry more than 500,000 tons of sediment through the canyon in a day. The sediment helps the river grind the canyon deeper and deeper. Over time, the river has ground down a channel through different kinds and colors of rock. Softer rocks crumbled into slopes that left space under the harder rocks above them. Then the harder rocks broke off and formed cliffs. Swift-flowing creeks cut side canyons into the rim and make the canyon wider. They leave ridges, mountains, and plateaus between the side canyons. Flowing water is the most powerful cause of erosion, but it doesn't work alone. On cold nights, water freezes and expands in cracks in the canyon walls, which widens them. Plant roots pry apart rocks, and gravity tugs rocks down the canyon walls. Large rocks roll down creeks and form big, noisy rapids in the river. Rain mixes with carbon dioxide in the air to form a weak acid that dissolves rock. People have lived in the Grand Canyon for thousands of years. Archaeologists have found artifacts that tell us about how people used to live. As well as baskets, pottery, spears, and dwellings, there are images created on stone. These tell of the ceremonies people held, the stories they told, and the music they made. Such finds are very important to the tribes whose ancestors once lived here. Today, the Hopi, Zuni, Southern Paiute, Navajo, Apache, Yavapai, Havasupai, and the Wallapai tribes remember their Grand Canyon ancestors and tell stories about the canyon in their own languages. Where they live. At the Grand Canyon, the climate becomes warmer and drier the deeper you go. There is a desert at the bottom, but the water of the Colorado River makes it possible for many plants and animals to live there. An area with its own climate, plants, and animals is called a life zone. There are 5 life zones from the top of the Grand Canyon to the bottom: the boreal forest, ponderosa pine forest, pinyon juniper woodland, desert scrub, and riparian. Each of these life zones is home to a specific group of plants and animals, which make up the biodiversity of the canyon. Stretching up to 200 feet tall, ponderosa trees are the most common pine trees in North America. Their rust-colored trunks can grow to 4 feet wide. They are fire resistant, which helps the trees survive and grow to great heights. Groups of mature ponderosas grow on either side of the Grand Canyon. Their overlapping branches form tree islands. These are home to many different types of wildlife. Flocks of tiny birds called pygmy nuthatches are common in pine forests. They peep to one another as they look for insects and seeds. 100 or more may roost together in tree cavities. Year-old males help their parents defend their nests and feed their young. Abert squirrels' only source of food comes from ponderosa pines. They eat the tree's buds, pollen cones, seeds, and the inner bark of twigs. They chase each other around the trunks, build nests in the branches, and dig for fungi, like false truffles at the roots. The kaibab squirrel is a type of Abert squirrel. It is found only in the ponderosa pine forests on the canyon's north rim. Porcupines are slow-moving but rarely seen. They are large rodents with coats of sharp spines called quills. If startled, they turn their back, stick up their quills, and flip their barbed tails. During the day, they sleep in dens or treetops. At night, they forage for plants, twigs, and mineral-rich mud. If you visited the Grand Canyon, chances are you might have seen a raptor soaring high up in the sky. Raptors are birds like hawks, eagles, falcons, owls, and vultures. 30 species of these raptors hunt in the park. When their keen eyes spot prey from a distance, they dive from the sky and grab it with 8 sharp claws called talons. Peregrine falcons dive up to 185 miles per hour to stun their prey. They hunt mostly birds and bats. Zone-tailed hawks soar in circles on drafts of rising warm air called thermals. Once they spot their prey, they drop on them from low heights. They nest at Grand Canyon in summer and migrate south in autumn. The California condor is North America's largest land bird, with a wingspan of 9.5 feet. By the 1900s, condors were almost extinct in the wild. In 1987, scientists stepped in and captured the last 27 wild condors. Safe in pens, their numbers grew until they could be released into the wild again. Today, there are more than 300 condors in the wild, with 100 living around the Grand Canyon. Mexican spotted owls live in the canyon's caves, where they are safe from peregrine falcons. People once thought that owls only lived in forests, until scientists looking for California condors accidentally discovered Mexican spotted owls in the canyon's large open caves. It is very hot and dry in the desert scrub, and so plants that grow here must be able to survive with little water. Only shrubs and smaller plants grow here, as it is too dry for trees. During the spring, insects visit flowers, and many birds arrive to eat the insects. It gets very hot in the summer months, so animals, like some birds, depart to cooler locations. These warmer summer months are perfect for reptiles, though, which is why 18 species of lizards and 22 species of snakes can be found here. Collared lizards are bold. They run after insects and very small animals on their hind legs, like tyrannosaurs. The males are very colorful, with blue-green and yellow bodies. Ringtails are relatives of raccoons. They hunt birds and mice at night. The white fur around their big eyes reflects moonlight to help them see better. Sensitive whiskers on their pointy noses help them find their way. Javelinas woof and grunt as they travel in groups called squadrons of a dozen or more. They have very tough mouths and can eat almost anything. Their favorite food is prickly pear cactus. The Grand Canyon is home to many types of reptiles, including snakes, lizards, and the elusive desert tortoise. Reptiles are cold-blooded, so they need sunshine to stay warm. Their bodies are covered in scales to hold in water instead of fur to keep them warm. Reptiles usually eat insects, mice, and other reptiles. Most lay eggs and do not raise their young. There are 41 species of reptiles in the park. The Grand Canyon rattlesnake eats once every few weeks. Pits above its nose sense heat from rodents, birds, and lizards. Its fangs inject a poison before they swallow their prey whole. The Grand Canyon rattlesnake is found only around the Grand Canyon. Greater shorthorn lizards don't need to flee from predators. They have a few tricks to frighten them away. They squirt blood from their eyes and suck in air to double their size. Sonoran mountain king snakes may bite, but they are not poisonous. They hide under rocks and slither out to strangle mice or small snakes. They hibernate underground or among rocks in winter. Chuckwallas are large, flat-bodied lizards that eat leaves, buds, flowers, and fruits. Chuckwallas protect themselves from predators by crawling between rocks and inflating their wrinkly bodies until they are safely wedged in tight. As temperatures increase, plants of the canyon's life zones are beginning to grow higher up the canyon walls. The animals that rely on these plants follow in search of food. Bighorn sheep have started to travel down to the river for water because springs higher on the canyon walls are dry, whereas up on the rim, forest fires are more likely to happen. The Grand Canyon also teaches us about time. We understand that change will come, but life will adapt and flourish. Grand Canyon became a national park because the public wanted to preserve it. Illustrated reports published by explorers showed people the canyon's wild magnificence compared to factories and crowded cities. President Teddy Roosevelt declared it the one great sight every American should see. The Grand Canyon has captured humankind's imagination since the Ice Age. Now it's your turn to explore. Wow, it's been so much fun reading about Grand Canyon with you. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more information, visit www.susanlam.net. See you next time.